camera, our editor is not here in town, so we're using this camera. But it makes me, I always think about, I get into triathlon, like full fledged head first, and I get a nice bike. I think it's like, it's like a $3,000 bike, and it was all but given to me almost by a local bike shop, and I had a ton of support. But I'd go to my first few races, and there'd be guys like really, really fit, thin. They look like dragon breathe, fire breathing dragons with
Hmm.
like crazy 10, 15,000. Like their wheel set was more expensive than my bike. And I'm like, I started playing that mind game. Oh, they have the nice bike. They're gonna beat me. It's it's like they
Yeah.
got the nice bike. They're already there. You know what I mean?
No, it's not that. It's
Not it
well, it's
at
kind of like
all.
playing golf. It's kind of like
Yeah.
playing golf. You can go
Get the
have the
nice clubs.
nicest, newest, best clubs,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like in our office. I can use all my nice stuff, and Blake over here could use one club
Yeah,
and
exactly.
still
Yeah.
beat me.
That's
So,
awesome. Well, hey, do you want to give it about 30 seconds or so?
yeah.
Let folks come in? Okay, great. Good to see everybody. Thanks so much for coming. Great turnout already. Awesome. Really, really fun. I love seeing the same names every week and friends, and I love seeing new names too. So thanks everybody for
Oh
coming. If
yeah.
you haven't been here
Tons.
before, it's great to meet you. Really, really cool. I love the golden ticket. So, and hopefully at the end of this, you all will too. But yeah, so I had a friend of mine who had a lot of experience in triathlon say, it's not the bike, man, it's the engine. So,
Yeah, no joke. No joke.
so yeah, very fun. All right, you tell me when you're ready.
Let's do it, man.
All
Let's
right.
rock.
Hey, thanks everybody for coming. Really, really fun. My name's Trevor Nelson. Jason Ledlow, my partner. We're with HGA Fundraising. A little bit. A lot of you probably know who we are. For those of you who don't, we provide the most profitable auction items in fundraising. But we also pride ourselves in this great weekly webinar series and giving away our best information for free. Really, really fun episode. We're very passionate about the golden ticket, and hopefully you all will be too by the time you leave here today. So, really, really fun topic. Really, really fun, exciting. I don't want to say easy, but a very it can be when it's done right and planned out properly. And we have a lovely guest that Jason's going to introduce as well, where it can be very, very effective if done properly and can raise a tremendous amount of money with a few simple, practices. And we're going to explain those to you today. So we have a very interactive webinar here. So Q&A function is going to be open the entire time. Chat function. Do us a favor. Any questions, anything under the sun during the hour that we have you here, please hit us with as many questions and thoughts and experience as you possibly can. That's what we're here for. So, like I said, very, very interactive. And then stay till the end and win. We're going to give away some fun stuff. We like to give away. We're very generous at HGA. We like to give away things at the end of every episode, and Jason and I will explain that to everyone as well. So, Jay, do us a favor. Will you introduce our guest and let's get into the golden ticket?
I would love to. So I am
Nice.
so excited to have Sami Grega. Sami is the Director of Development. What's your new title? You've got kind of a fancy new title.
Senior Director of Engagement.
Senior
Oh, I
Director
love
of
that.
Engagement for the YWCA here in Oklahoma City. She's been there doing this for a long time and been a great client and a big advocate of the golden ticket. One of the things we wanted to talk about today is the golden ticket. I want you to think about it as a strategy, not a product. And Sammy's perfect for this because she's used it in several different ways, and she can give us her experience about what works well, what doesn't. And so, Sammy, I'm real excited to have you here. And I wanted to go back to this, that it's a strategy. The golden ticket's a strategy. We have a product called the golden ticket. We're fascinated by that. People like to use that term and do it. It's kind of fun. Everybody thinks about the golden ticket with Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory and how that all
Yeah.
goes. We used to have a video that it said, it was Grandpa running around, dancing about we've got a golden ticket
Hmm.
when we would do the drawing. But that really is what it is. It's a fundraising strategy. So Sammy, really excited to be here. And just so everybody knows, Sammy loves being on camera. She loves coming and
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
all
Very
this.
false information.
It's funny because she is truly. Am I breaking up still, Calvin? Are you hearing everything okay?
I think you're good. Yeah.
Okay. He said it was breaking up a
Thanks for
little
letting
bit.
us know, though, Calvin.
So
Appreciate you.
yeah. So that this is a really effective strategy to raise a lot of money with minimal effort. And I'm not going to say there's no effort because that's not
Yeah.
true. We know that. Every time, oh, that's easy. It's not at all, as everybody here knows, and Sammy's very well aware of this. So, Sammy, why don't you tell us just what your thoughts are when you think about the golden ticket?
We've been doing it for many years now and have tried very different strategies. We have got over ambitious. Probably our first year, we tried to sell 300 tickets, and that was way too much. We've done a lower price, a higher price, and just kind of found what works for our audience. Really, for us, the kicker is starting early and selling tickets before we get to the event. Then it's not taking away from your night of money. Obviously, sell whatever's left at the event, but the most successful years that we've had have been the ones where we are pushing it out to our database, to our donors, to their friends, everybody before the event.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a quick question, Sammy, while you're talking about that. Sorry, Jay. Just to cut in there. How far in advance do you all do it? I mean, what after testing it for a few years, like give the audience your take on that.
So we have a different event, a smaller event, a casino night in April. So we try not to overlap with the casino night. Typically, as soon as that event closes out, then we'll start soliciting for Purple Sash. So generally, about a month and a half to 2 months, probably more a month and a half.
Yeah,
We'll
45,
start
60
pushing
days.
it out. We give it to
Yeah.
our board. We send it to our database.
Love it.
And then obviously just a bigger push as we get closer.
Yeah. love
So
it.
some of you may be wondering, okay, tell us what the golden ticket
Yeah,
strategy.
we probably should do that. Yeah.
So let me tell you, so we call it the golden ticket trifecta. And that's just what we do. Sammy has done it in various ways, and everybody we work with has maybe a little different spin. They'll do it. The golden ticket, you don't have to call it the name. You guys call it the purple ticket a couple of times.
I love the branding.
Because there are events called Purple Sash. So what it is that basically you're going to sell 100 tickets. You're going to sell an item that's significant, have something that's got value to it. So you're going to sell 100 tickets. That value, we typically say $100, $200, $250. We like $100 or $250. And then you're going to get it underwritten. So if there's a cost, you want to get somebody to underwrite that. So that's one side of the pyramid. The other side is to sell 100 tickets. And finally, if you want to, Sammy's going to talk to us about why they don't. But then you can auction it off as a surprise auction item. We see that done a lot. And so people take one item basically and raise thousands of dollars in a very short period of time. And it works really well. I mean, it's just something that's kind of there. So, Sammy alluded to something about being ambitious. Talk to us about, because we always advocate for 100 tickets. So talk to us about how you guys got ambitious and how it turned out.
So the first year we did it was before you had HGA, so you were not
Yeah.
my lead person to advise us. And our committee just felt like, oh, this is such a great idea to raise money. We can absolutely sell. At that year, we were doing them for $200. And they were like, we can definitely sell 300 and we can raise all this money. And
That's a lot.
thought
Yeah.
yes, it was a lot. We sold 146.
Yeah.
And when the auctioneer was trying to sell it at the event, trying to sell more, it got very awkward. And because we're so far from our goal and was pushing, and it did not work well. And we definitely steered clear from
Which,
that for them.
it was a failure of the goal, but you raised, like you
I was gonna say that's still a
raised
win.
$29,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of money raised.
Yeah, for sure.
But here's the reason why we like to say 100 tickets, because that way from the very beginning, you can say, we're going to sell 100 tickets. We're only selling 100 tickets. We're going to raise $10,000. We're going to raise $25,000, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
You're going to be a part of it. And you get a chance to win, something that's worth $7,000, $8,000 or $5,000 or something like that, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the caveat is you want to have a win. You want to be able to celebrate the win, because that's a great way to start your live auction. We always recommend to do it in the first part. People do it different ways. Again, you don't even have to have a benefit to do it. I mean, have people do it at golf tournaments. They do
You can
it
do it online.
do it online. They do it all kinds of different ways. But it's basically just a raffle strategy, but it's a very tuned in. Like a lot of raffles, it's unlimited. We're going to sell as many tickets as we can. But then you're like, well, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
This
I
is
think
a really good way, because you're telling them what you're going to do. We're going to raise, we're going to sell 100 tickets for $100. We're going to raise $10,000.
Yep. I love that. I love the scarcity that there's only so many tickets available. I love the supply and demand. I think that bodes really, really well for the psyche of donors and folks that are willing to participate. But Sammy, I mean, I think I already know the answer probably, but what are y'all doing now as far as like we cap it at 100 tickets is after testing it for a couple of years, like this is what we
Yes.
do and this is
So
what
we've kind
works.
of found our sweet spot is that $250 per ticket, and we
Cool.
cap it at 100.
No, it's perfect though, but you're raising $25,000. I think it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. That's a huge win. I love that. Um, Jay, you want to talk about like different
Well,
options for the golden
well, what I
ticket
want to
item
do
and
is I
things like
want to
that?
talk about the underwriting first because,
Let's do
we,
that.
we
Yeah.
obviously have a product we sell. And so there may be, whether it's ours or something else that you guys have, there may be a cost to it. And what we always suggest is doing the underwriting. So talk to us about the first time you guys went out and you guys got a sponsor for it.
So we had a specific sponsor in mind for us that we knew had already said, hey, we can't attend this year. They didn't really want to do a sponsorship if they weren't going to attend because our sponsorships include tickets. That's really what they're for. And so we presented this idea like, hey, we have this raffle. We're trying to get the cost of it covered. So it's all profit. And they bumped their sponsorship from a 2,000 to a 4,000, and it covered everything, and they've been
Awesome.
really supportive since then. We originally came up with some marketing materials to where we could ask multiple people saying this is what you get if you sponsor this golden ticket and benefits, and we really just lucked out that this one sponsor has been great and wants to do
Awesome.
it, and so we haven't had to do a ton of marketing for it, but it gave them what they wanted in not attending the event and still being able to support and knowing that they were covering the cost of something specific.
That was so impactful that could raise that much money. I mean, when you're talking to a sponsor, a supporter like that, I mean, it's such a huge pitch, I say, I
Mhm.
suppose, right? And just explanation. Um, what have you done? Just getting in the weeds a little bit, Sammy, with that particular sponsor, or underwriter for the golden ticket. Have you given them any, okay, this is the golden ticket presented by, organization XYZ or any kind of branding for them or any suggestions about that kind of stuff?
So our original goal was, yes, to do in our kind of marketing pitch we had was going to be a very specific, this is for the golden ticket sponsor on our marketing materials and our program and the PowerPoint, all the things. This particular sponsor didn't necessarily want the individual recognition. So we kind of just looped them in at one of our sponsor levels, and they get recognized as a general sponsor. So it worked out for us. We didn't have to do anything extra, but our
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
originally was to do some extra, hey, this is a golden ticket sponsor, to give them some extra PR.
I love that. I think
You
it's
know, I
awesome.
think that that brings up a really good point. I think that we get caught up sometimes and we forget who our sponsors are.
Hmm.
And I think you would agree with this, Sammy. Some sponsors, they want the spotlight. They really want
Fine.
somebody to
Yeah,
see them. They want everybody stand up and cheer. And there's other ones, they'll slide a check under the door and don't tell anybody
Yeah.
because
anonymous.
it's
Yeah.
just, and it's a personality change. It's not that they don't, but with the golden ticket from a sponsorship activity, I always tell people all the time, I'm going to use a bank analogy.
Yep.
Banks, or different, there's organizations that, they do multiple events. They'll sponsor multiple events throughout the year, but it's back to what you said, sponsorship. Well, I'm out of town this week, or
Yep.
I'm out of town, or they've got to go and get tickets, but they still want to give to your organization. They want to be part of your mission. And this is a really great way for you to do that because they're going to get the acknowledgement that, hey, uh, ABC Bank, the golden ticket brought to you by ABC
Yep.
Bank,
Yep.
ABC Bank. So they like that. They want to hear that for these, especially these corporate sponsors, but individuals as well. But it's okay because there's other people that don't do that. And imagine whenever you're going to talk to somebody to say, well, look, we've got this really awesome thing. We're going to do a golden ticket. We're going to sell 25 or 100 tickets for $250. We're going to raise $25,000. Now we've got a prize that the person's going to win. It's $4,000, and we're looking for somebody to underwrite it. Now, and I know you guys have done this. I'm gonna tell you because I know Jan sold this and did it. So one year you guys did it, and you had like I don't remember what it was, and she sold two sponsorships for 2,500, and you had it double underwritten,
That's
right?
awesome.
And that was one of the things I was going to say. Jan's the executive director or CEO at her organization, and so I know that they made that call. But that's what I mean. Don't limit yourself on just the expense. I mean, you can it's worth a lot. You know, in this case, they did 5,000. They made more money than what the actual cost was. So don't limit yourself. In fact, on all your underwriting,
Yeah.
if it cost you $1,000, you know,
You can ask
offer
for
it for
two.
$1,500, $2,000. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a fundraiser, not just expense cover. Now, sometimes
Absolutely.
it's what you have to do, and it's still good, but it really means a lot whenever you're telling somebody you're helping raise $25,000. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Well, hey, not to get off the topic of
yeah,
the golden ticket, but here we are again talking about and finding our way into sponsorships and underwriting again, and just such a
always.
lovely,
Yeah.
lovely opportunity. I'm going to ask you a question though, Jay, as well, and Sammy, you feel free to answer it as well. But let's just say the item it's donated, and it's a piece of jewelry. I could be letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but
Yeah.
or a watch or something like that. But would you still, even if it was free, for instance, donated, would you still, reach out and give someone the underwriting opportunity?
We do, yes.
Yeah,
We
good,
any chance that we can to get more sponsorships.
perfect. Yeah,
And we will be completely honest with our donor to
hmm,
say, hey, this year we have a donated item. Would you still like to be the sponsor for this particular thing? Golden ticket, whatever it may be.
love it,
But especially if we've already kind of crafted that ask, we definitely make it again.
love it.
Because again, it's not about covering expense, it's about raising money. I mean, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you've got
Yeah.
to, you've got a goal to hit. We talk about it every year. You're like, this is how much money I've got to raise.
Yep.
And, I've got to get there. Whether it's going to be not just okay, well, we need to raise an extra 100,000. I guess we're going to put 75 more items in the live auction. Well, that's not practical, not going to work. And so how are we going to do that? And I think underwriting is the most underutilized fundraiser. You guys capitalize on it really exceptionally well and have done for quite some while. Because how many people attend your event, Sammy?
Post-COVID, the numbers have varied. It used to be 700 people at the
Yeah.
event. Now
Wow.
we've kind of gone from 400 to 550. Just kind of depends
Yeah.
on the year.
Yeah. I
Still
got some
pretty
questions.
attended, just not as
I got some
great.
questions about that too. Hey, real quick though, I want to actually nudge Bailey. Bailey, could you do us a favor? Could you put up the most recent episode that we did or webinar that we did about sponsorships and underwriting, just so folks can just get a better grasp and understanding? Because every time we bring it up, and the golden ticket's such a lovely opportunity. Because how many times can you give someone an underwriting, a supporter, an underwriting or sponsorship opportunity that actually makes the organization a lot of money, right? That has this kind of effect. And this kind of opportunity. So we'll put that episode up. Take a look at it when you have a chance, everybody, because
Cool.
we just can't stop talking about sponsorships and underwriting, even though we're talking about the golden ticket today. So
Well,
yeah, really
you
good.
did let the cat out of the bag, but it's a
I
great
did.
time
Sorry.
to
Yeah,
talk
yeah, yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Sorry.
and this is something that, we have clients that'll call us and they'll tell us, we'll start asking about what they've got. And in this case, it came up that, why don't you tell the story about the piece of jewelry?
So with it being our COVID year, we could not go without an event. We had to have one. It just, the way that things shook out for us, we still needed to have an in-person event. And it was later in the year. We were not sure how attended it would be and didn't know that we really wanted to spend the $4,000 on a trip if we were going to have 50 people in the room.
Mhm.
And at that point, people weren't traveling. We'd done trips the year before. And so we had a really great donor who has a high-end jewelry shop who gave us a ring that was donated, or valued at, I don't know, it was at over $8,000.
I was going to say, I remember Jason telling me the stories about
Well,
8,000.
when
My
we were
memory
talking
serves.
about it,
Yeah.
because it was a hybrid event, so we were going to have
Yeah.
a small in person. It was also cast out online.
Weren't you there,
And
Jay? Were you there?
I
right?
did the
In person?
auction. I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I
cool.
was
Yeah, yeah.
I was the
Far out. I remember
that
this
was
story. This is good.
pre-retirement. That was
Yeah,
pre-retirement.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we did
They
this, but I
drag you
remember we
out.
were sitting to have a strategy about it, and we talked about it, had this donation because we were going through it. And they're like, "Yeah, I really don't want to do it." And I said, "Well, let's do it with the ring."
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about jewelry. Jewelry's very, it's kind of like a painting.
It's
You
bespoke.
could have, it's just really,
Specific.
it's very specific. And, in this particular piece of jewelry, while quite beautiful, it was not something that everybody was going to do. And I don't, it was going to be limited. We had that limited amount of number. And I was like, I don't think it's ever going to bring $8,000. I didn't have any confidence that we could do that.
Mhm.
So to maximize the opportunity, I said, well, let's just use it for the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And so they did. sold at 200. And I tell the story a lot of times. I always say 46 tickets, but Sammy's correcting me. Yeah, you guys actually sold 56 tickets. So it brings over $11,000
Awesome.
for an $8,600 piece of jewelry.
It's awesome.
The winner was ecstatic.
Yeah.
You guys were tickled.
Yeah.
And the lady, the donor who created this, because it was
Over
a
the
custom
moon,
piece of
probably.
jewelry, was over the moon.
Yeah.
And so everybody won in this scenario.
Yeah.
And that's why, things like jewelry, I think is always a really good item if you're going to use something like that to do this with, because maybe it's not, you're like, well, I don't know if this deal, and let's say, and it needs to be the right value. I mean, you need to kind of put things in the right value in the right place, for what it is. But, you guys raised a significant amount of money selling 56 tickets, and it worked. And it worked.
And it cost us nothing.
And it cost nothing. Yeah, it was a completely donated item, so you were able to capitalize on it. And that's what we're trying to do, is capitalize on these opportunities. As professional fundraisers, we've got to do that.
I love that.
I did want to make a plug for the golden ticket real quick. Before we started the golden ticket, purple ticket, we did multiple different raffles at our event. We had a wine pool, we had a restaurant pool, we had a something else. We had 3 different pools where we had to solicit all of that stuff, and we were still, between all the pools, we're bringing in about $10,000 for our raffle every year. And so when they presented the golden ticket idea, while it had an expense to it, the not having to use our time and effort to solicit all of the stuff for the regular raffles that we did, and now we're making more money than
Such a good
that
point.
$10,000. So it's less work, less effort, and a bigger payout.
We were just talking about this yesterday in a podcast, and it's such a good point, because you're just talking about people power and all the time that it takes to put so much focus into raising money with this event. I get the impression that this is a massive part of your fundraising efforts through the years. This event is Purple Sash.
Yeah.
And ever since I've known Jason, I've known Purple Sash, because he's so
Yeah.
passionate about the event, and obviously such a huge fan of yours and Jan's. We are as well. And and it's just, I think by you saying that, I really hope it resonates with folks, because we want to nudge and encourage, and literally, it's not like we're the gatekeepers, but give people permission to not have to go around town spending hours and hours and hours on these things that, it's not that they're not effective and they don't raise money, but there's just such a better use of your time. Getting on the phone and talking to someone about underwriting the golden ticket would be a better use of your time than going and acquiring bottles of wine and things of that nature. And I just think there's just such a smarter, not harder approach that's working at your event, at events all across the country. And then also quality over quantity. I mean, just like less is more. It's really okay. I mean, we're the trips and experiences people, and it's not, it doesn't make me uncomfortable to say this, but less is more, as long as it's, quality, right? And
Yeah, well, and I want to just make a point here.
Please.
If you're doing a wine pool and you're doing some other stuff, you don't need to throw everything out and just do this one thing. That was what worked for Sammy and her organization. We've got another client that they do a golden ticket, plus they do a wine pool, plus they do what they call it, a whiskey flip, and they do all kinds of stuff.
yeah,
But they also keep it down. We're an advocate of, like, you don't want to ask people for money more than about 5 times.
I love but different revenue enhancers are fun and creative and exciting.
Oh, they are.
People engaged.
They are.
Yeah, I love that.
But
kind of
there's
stuff.
an organization we know that's one of our clients several years ago. They did, like, I think it was 14 different things that they had asking for money, like 14.
That's a lot.
And maybe before it was even more than that. We got them to get it down, and they went from raising $75,000 a year to $200,000 in 1 year. That was the swing, because they started concentrating that giving. Because what happens is, and Sammy, I think you'll attest to this. Once somebody's went and bought a pull of wine, they went and bought a little ticket over here, and they did something there, they're kind of giving out. So they're
That's
like, I bid on
fatigue.
some
After
stuff,
that, it's
and
fatigue,
and
yeah.
I'm ready to drink and party and have, and visit. I want to talk and see people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we have a client. I mean, we were just sharing case studies. We have a Habitat for Humanity client in the eastern part of the country, and they do, because I'm a big fan of different price points. I'm a big fan. Jason has taught me more about fundraising in this regard with regard to revenue enhancers, and it sounds like you all do this as well, Sammy. But having different price points. They do this Habitat for Humanity group the last couple of years. They do a $100 golden ticket and a $250 golden ticket, and it just
Yeah.
works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am a big believer in different price points. While we're talking about that, not trying to get us off the beaten path here, but Sammy, talk to us about like, I'm sure maybe some folks are thinking about this. It's like, okay, $250, maybe that's a little bit much for, for our attendees or our supporters and whatnot. But, I like a digestible price point because folks that have high net worth and capacity are still going to buy tickets if they're $100, $250. And then folks that are not, we're not going to even, that's why this is such a great strategy. Folks that were never going to bid on an auction item because maybe they don't have the capacity or disposable income to do it are all in because A, they have a chance to win. B, it's a digestible price point. They can help the mission. I mean, speak to that and just what you've seen because you've been doing it for so many years now, about how that just works for everybody in the room, especially with a room
Yeah,
as
for
big as
sure.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it is that you want something for your dollars.
Yeah.
And so the people who don't have the income to bid on the live auction to get the trip, the idea of being able to get this awesome trip or the ring or whatever we happen to do that year for $250, like it's a chance you can't miss. If knowing you were going to give anyways, like I came to this fundraiser, I'm helping them no matter what. If I get a great trip out of it, that's awesome. It has really, we've done better with it at the $250 price point than when we had it at $100 just for our guests and our attendees.
How cool is that? Yeah, we had better luck when it was more. When we
And I
raised more
think it
money.
is that
I love that.
because
Yeah.
when we had the $100, we were trying to sell more. And
Yeah.
so dropping it to the 100 tickets at the $250 level, it was the exclusivity of it. It
Yep.
is, hey, I was going to give to this agency. Anyways, like the people who were going to give it 100 are still going to give it 250. And
Love it.
it just really works for our audience. And I think that's a big factor is knowing your attendees, knowing who's going to be in the room, knowing who your database is that you're sending it out to, and what incentivizes them.
Claire
Totally.
Hodges
Love
was
that.
she just asked
Yeah,
about
great
how-
question, Claire. Yeah.
I think this is a really good point. So why don't you just give us a couple things like what is it just for a pair of tickets to come to Purple Sash? What did y'all do this last year?
So our individual tickets are $350 a piece.
Okay. And what was your minimum table? What was the minimum table sponsor?
Our minimum sponsorship is $2,000. It's for 4 seats, and then from there it goes up to $5,000 for a full table of 10, and we go up from there.
Okay.
Cool.
So you can see, obviously with a $350, ticket to come in, minimum ticket, they've got capacity in their event and have that kind of donor. And that's where what we always, here's the math. We don't want to forget the math. If you sell 50 tickets for $250 and you raise 12.5, or you sell 100 tickets for 100 and you raise 10, basically it's the same net money. It really comes down to the same net dollars if you look at that with the cost. So you're not, moving one to the other. I'm always an advocate to try to sell more, to go to the higher end, because you just don't have to sell as much, and I think the strategy of the golden ticket, and I'm going to talk about this for just a second with you, because I don't know if you guys have ever tried to do this. Did y'all ever try to do the tickets where you were taking credit card payments or taking cash or anything? And did y'all ever do that previously?
Like swiping. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like where if somebody bought a ticket, you like immediately took the payment at the event, or did you always use buyer numbers? Have you always
So
used
we
buyer numbers?
use mobile bidding, and so
Yeah.
ours go through the mobile bidding
Okay.
app until until you do it at the live auction,
live
and
auction,
then it's a paddle
yeah,
raise. But before that, you do it through the app, so
Okay.
it is a charge rate.
Well, that's
That was a
one
loaded
thing-
question. That
one
was a
thing,
loaded
too,
question,
is,
Jason.
I don't ever want, and I've done events. I did, I've told this story 1,000 times, and so
Yeah.
it's a good story. So here's 1,001. I did an event one time where they were selling tickets. They had a couple of ladies going around, and they were trying to collect money when they were buying a ticket. Well, if it goes fast, I'm sitting here and, I'm talking, got a glass of wine in one hand and, talking to Sammy, and we're having a good time. And, somebody comes up and says, would you guys like to buy a golden ticket? And I'm like, well, I got to set my, yeah, sure. Well, I don't have anything. I got a credit card, and Sammy's like, well, John's, he's across the room. I don't have anything, I don't have anything with me. And so it really causes even if you do, it still takes 3 minutes at minimum.
Yeah.
Well, do that 100 times, it's 300 minutes. We don't have time to do that.
Massive friction. Yeah.
But
not
if you
good.
walk up and you go, yeah, what's your buyer number? Oh, 275. Done.
Yeah.
It's that fast. It is so
That's how it
quick
should
and
be.
easy.
Yeah.
And that's where we see it happen. So in this event, and this is why I know this strategy works so well. They sold 17 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, the executive director of the organization is in another city, did not like anything about this. She was mad about it. She
Strategy.
didn't want to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
She was mad at
The
you.
local office did it. She was mad at me. And
Yeah.
she hears 17 tickets. And I mean, she's giving me the stink eye. Like,
You said,
it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's not good. And I said, it's going to be okay. I said, we're not done yet.
trust the big guy.
Get up on stage. I sold 83 tickets in 10 minutes. They wound up, and it was $200 a ticket. No, it was $150 a ticket. They raised $15,000.
Yep.
And, we got it all done. And that's why the strategy works, because once people understand what the mission is, always goes back to mission, then they're giving, they have a chance to get something, and I got up and said, hey guys, we only sold 17.
Yeah.
Hands started going up like crazy because they know they got the odds in their favor of winning.
Yeah.
And I'd always say, hey, I haven't sold the winning ticket yet, I don't think. So, and everybody would laugh and they get a hoorah about it. But
Yeah.
it's just such an effective method to do it. And it's almost like the first thing that comes out of it, are you guys doing this?
Yeah.
And
it seems
when
like
we coach on the event
it's a big
fundraiser.
energy boost. Sammy, do you all do the golden ticket before your live auction starts?
Yes.
And it's and you've noticed then it's obviously deliberate. It sounds like everything you all do is, but you do that by design to get the energy up, of course, before the live auction. Like, once again, there's something to pay attention to, folks, when it comes to like the placement, right? Of if there's tickets left over and announcing the winner and things like that, because that energy is palpable, when you announce
Sure.
okay. Yeah. Good. Awesome.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing. I mean, I've got to do
Totally.
this event and everybody stands up and starts clapping.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody gets into it because we just raised $25,000. Everybody's into it and
It's a
clapping.
win.
Yeah.
It's a huge crescendo before the live auction starts.
Yeah. So I want to ask a question, and then we'll get to. I know there's probably some questions out there, and guys, if you have one, please
Please.
ask. We got Sammy here. She's got a tremendous amount of experience. If it's about underwriting, using the ticket.
We know
anything
you're all
like that.
taking a lot of notes right now, but we need some questions for sure.
So one thing that, and this is, and I just want to hear, I know what it is, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So why don't you use the third leg of the golden ticket trifecta?
What
you
is the
don't
third leg?
auction it off.
What's the third leg?
The surprise auction where you auction off the golden ticket.
The
I
item
actually
itself, let's just say it's an
don't know
item
what
that can
that
be
is.
sold multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah, after we sell the golden ticket, we would, after we pull the winner, and then we would just go sell the trip. I know what it is. I don't know why. I know what it is.
Because we have too many stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because you got so many items. So this is a really good strategy. What we're talking about is after you've sold all your tickets, everybody's cheering.
You announce the winner.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody's clapping. We raised $25,000. We reach in, we draw the number out. Trevor Nelson's the winner. Everybody's clapping. Yeah, all right. And then I go, hey, Ashton, I know you were really wanting to go on that trip because you bought a golden ticket. And I know you were thinking about taking this trip and so and so and so and so. You don't have to call people by name, but you're doing that. I'm just doing that because I saw her name up here. You're talking about that. I know that some of you wanted. It's a really great way you can have an extra item, especially maybe if you got a smaller auction. Sammy, they've always got like 12, 13 items, so they're at the top. But let's say that you just got 4, 5, 6. You can add this extra item in because everybody's already juiced up about it and they're excited. And they've already envisioned
folks that
themselves
didn't win,
going to Tuscany,
and they want
or
it.
going
Yeah.
to, do some of these different trips. And then you auction it off and you can sell it. And we've had people sell it 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
And raise, making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a piece after that. So all of a sudden their net went from doing, let's say just net was 25,000 because they got it underwritten. Then they had another 12,000, so $37,000 that they raised off of one item. So it becomes really significant to your deal because $37,000 is a lot of money in the live auction, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's unless you're doing like some crazy big, and I bet you if we were to do the deal, probably everybody's average is somewhere around that, under $50,000 for the live auction, when you're looking at net money. And so
Yeah.
it's significant.
I'm going to play
It's
Captain
really
Obvious here.
significant.
I'm going to play Captain Obvious here really quick, just for folks, just so you understand what Jason was just dictating was, so you have an item, it's would be a consignment opportunity, for instance, and something that you can sell more than once, right? Like the donated piece of jewelry would be something you use for the golden ticket, but you're probably not going to auction that off as a live auction item because you don't have multiple rings in this case, right? So you would need to make sure that you have something that can be sold multiple times. And then, as Jason
Yes.
mentioned, yeah, these are for folks that have the capacity to buy it
Yeah.
as a live auction item for, $3,500 to $5,000. And you are probably going to find that you're going to have multiple people in the room that didn't win the golden ticket drawing that have the capacity to buy the item because they want the opportunity to go on, in this case, the trip, for instance, right? So, yeah, like I said, just want to play Captain Obvious real quick with you. Well, I have a
Yeah.
question too, by the way.
We do. And
Yeah.
so this is really good. I think this is a great question because this comes
Yeah.
up a lot. So at a much smaller event with 150 people max, is one golden ticket at $75 ideal for something valued at $3,000?
Mm,
So I'm going to tell you what my thought is on it,
go
but I
ahead.
want to hear Sammy's what your thought is on it first.
Maybe you go first.
Okay. I, the difference between, in today's dollars, the difference between 75 and 100 is nothing.
That's exactly where my mind went. Yeah, if you
That's
can get
it's just
75,
just
go
not
for
even
100.
there.
Yeah.
And in fact, in today's dollars, selling $100 ticket is what, think about it, guys. 5 years ago, that's $50.
Yeah.
It's literally, we're in a world where our money supply is just, things are out of whack.
Yeah.
And so, buy a pack of bacon if you haven't lately. So with that being thought, it takes the same effort to sell a $75 ticket as it does $100.
And
It
you just
takes the
make
same
more.
effort to sell a $250 ticket as it does 100. My question would be more not the quantity of people, but really kind of where are they at? What's my ticket price? What's going to be those things? Because that's where I'm going to come at from. I would rather sell 50 tickets at $200 than I would 100 tickets at 75, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, because it's just more. And
Yeah.
and Sammy can tell you, it sounds good and it seems like, oh yeah, we're going to sell 300 tickets. It's
That's
just
a lot.
tough.
That's a
It's
It's
lot
a
of
lot.
work.
That's
Yeah.
300 interactions that you have to have
Yeah.
because not everybody's going to raise their hand. And you could do one for 100 and three for 250 or something like that. It just doesn't happen very often that you see that happen. You'd have to have an enormous amount of people because it's still broken down into the groups. Once somebody buys a ticket, they're done. Now, we've seen a never-ending raffle. We've got a strategy where there's, like they say, 50
It just
tickets.
it rotates.
They do
Yeah.
50 tickets for one item, and then they sell another 50 tickets for another item and sell another 50 tickets. It just depends on
Super
your
fun.
setup.
That's actually
Yeah.
really fun.
It really
Yeah.
is cool because the same people keep coming back and buying
I
because
want
the
to
odds are.
I think a couple things with regard to this question. It was anonymous. That's great. Everyone's got the ability to put questions in the Q&A function that way. One, Jason brought up a really great point about your ticket price and just understanding a little bit more of your event. So I'm just going to go ahead and volunteer his time. Bailey will put in a link for free coaching where you can set up a time. It's absolutely free. Our time is free. Jason can meet with you and talk to you about that strategy to make sure it's effective as possible. Also, though, and you probably already realized this, whoever asked the question, you have 150 people in the room, but as we said at the onset, if you have software and you're announcing the golden ticket opportunity 45 to 60 days in advance and giving folks the option to buy tickets if they're not going to be in attendance, I think that's uncanny. They could be on the other end of the country, but have an attachment to your organization. Obviously, we don't know, what you're raising money for instance, but don't underestimate the power of selling the items digitally before the event even takes off. I don't think that you need to be present to win. Is that bad of me to say that? Am I
No,
That's something
Yeah,
we
I'm
always
not-
put out. You
yeah.
do not have
I'm
to.
not throwing the baby out with the bathwater because you and Jason taught us this, right? Like, we want to be equal opportunity receivers. So why wouldn't we, give someone the opportunity to buy a ticket? Also, this is really, really granular, Sammy, but I think the golden ticket, for instance, underwriting such a huge piece, sponsorships are such a huge piece, ticket sales, table sales, but pre-event fundraising, the golden ticket can't be overlooked. If you're effective at selling tickets pre-event, especially to folks that aren't going to be in attendance, you're bringing, I mean, that's net money in the door
Yep.
before the doors
Yeah.
are even open. And
Yeah.
the more opportunities and revenue streams that you have for pre-event fundraising, the golden ticket being an uncanny one, I think that's just such a huge win. I don't think that can be overstated. Yeah. And I think
So
it's really, yeah, it's really effective. Yeah, please go ahead.
we do have the casino night that I talked about that we have in April. That is geared towards young professionals. We're trying to tap
Cool.
into that
Love that.
younger audience to as
Mhm.
our donors are getting older.
You're thinking about demo though. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a $50 ticket price to enter. And we've only done the golden ticket at that one year just because we have other things and you don't want to have too many asks. But the year we did it, we did it was $100 or $150 ticket cost. And we still offered 100. And we had a committee that helped, and we sold the majority of them prior to the event. So we don't have any kind of live auction at that event. And so it was just kind of announcing the winner, walking around the room while people are doing casino
Love it.
tables. But it
Love it.
is that younger group who probably doesn't have the $250, or if they do, they want to spend it on something different than a ticket. And I mean, it still worked really well for us.
I want
I
to put
love
one
that.
more thing
And
on
you're
that.
testing. You're also testing by doing that. I think it's
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like that can't be overstated either.
One
Yeah.
thing that I want to say, just success-wise, if you think about it, you've got 150 people in the room, unless it's a specific event for only men or only women or something, that's really targeted to individuals, it's going to be, you're going to cut that number in half because that's how many checkbooks you're going to have.
Yeah.
So instead of having 150 people, we've got 175 checkbooks. So selling something 50 times in that case might be better than trying to oversell, unless you really do it. If because somebody may say, well, we're not using software. This is a smaller event thing we're doing. I'm not going to, we can advocate for it whether you should or you shouldn't. But those are things that I think about. I think about less is more. I want to have more people, more opportunity where it's I might miss out. I want to have people fear of
FOMO.
missing out.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is real. That's real.
really
When it
is.
comes to donors and
Oh, it
giving. I mean,
is.
that is real. That is not
Yeah.
a loose acronym. Hey, we have some really good questions coming in.
I want
and
to
I'm-
hit
I'm-
this next one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Sandra, we have a client that actually does 2 different golden ticket raffles.
I
Now,
think
whether
it's
you're
smart.
doing, like you're saying, a personal item or something, that's just based on opportunity. This particular opportunity that Sammy was talking about, she had a very well-known designer, high-end jewelry person here that said, I want to help you guys, and was donating this ring that she made. And so that was an opportunity that was just there. Sometimes you have that opportunity, sometimes you don't. Whether you use something from us or something from not, that's not really the idea. It's just a way to do it without having to go hustle and try to find something. It's easier to find an underwriter for something like this typically than it is to get somebody to donate an item that other people want, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
we have a group. I absolutely think that you can have more than one ticket. I've done.
I like different price points. I like different appeals. And I mean,
we
we're
did
just
an
talking about
event-
different psychologies
I did an event
too.
where we had a golden ticket, and then we turned around and they had a Rolex raffle.
Yeah.
And they just did it
Yeah.
differently. They did, you could buy one ticket. I think it was one ticket for $100 or a wing, half a wingspan for $250.
Yeah.
They raised $37,000 for a Rolex that was donated.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I mean,
So
it
cool.
works. So doing multiple things, I think it just depends on your event. And if you want to hear more, happy to sign up for.
I was
sign
going
up
to
for a
say,
coaching
Sandra,
session. We
yeah.
can dig into
Sorry.
the weeds for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
speaking for Jason's time, but yeah, please sign up, or I'll be
Well, we're happy to
meet
do
you.
that. I want you
Yeah.
to know this is.
Please.
We get a lot. I get a lot of joy out of doing that. So
Well, Bev
find it out.
made a great
Come
point.
on.
I wanted to shine some light on Bev's point, and
Yeah.
and Jason's the most prolific mind in fundraising. I just want to go ahead and tell everyone that I've learned more
I don't think
about fundraising. It's true. Well, it's true. Sammy knows how brilliant he is with fundraising and how he approaches it. But what was interesting about choosing the right item and what Bev said, and then hearing Sammy's years now of experience with the jewelry and the trips and this and that, is just making sure that if you have an opportunity that it ends up fitting in the right spot. And there's this one time, and I've told this story 1,000 times, so here's 1,001, right? Is taking a page out of the book. But an attendee came on and said, we had these George Strait tickets donated. And we're like, oh my gosh, George, that sounds amazing. They're in Texas. And she said, I wasn't thinking in the moment. And she said, what do you think would be the best spot? And I said, the live auction. Jay said, well, hold on for a second. What's the most you've ever sold anything for in your live auction? And this experience could be a $10,000 experience in like a private suite, for instance, at the Cowboy Stadium. Okay. And she said the most we've ever brought in for anything in a live auction was $4,000. And he said, okay, well, let's just stop the bus right there. Let's use it as a golden ticket opportunity. And she went and hustled and got a dinner donation and a hotel room for the night of the concert and all that, and started selling golden tickets for $200 a piece, and ended up raising far more than she ever would have if she put this amazing item, which of course would be a great live auction item in theory, just a little twist of the dial and some feedback from the big guy, and she ended up raising a tremendous amount of money just by using the golden ticket strategy with some donated George Strait tickets. So just, once again, another plug to sign up for a coaching session with Jason if you like, and discuss this if you have this kind of problem where you have George Strait tickets and jewelry donated and all this fun stuff. So just making sure it's in the right spot so you can be as effective as possible, from a money perspective, from a profitability perspective. I think it's huge. It can't be, once again, that can't be overlooked either. So yeah, love it.
I got two things. I want to hit a couple of questions on here, but I want to get to Gretchen's. She put a question up here, and she said they've not done a golden ticket beforehand, but they because they thought that the winner needed to be in the room, and they would choose the live auction item that they want. So this is something that is really where we kind of tweaked and turned it a little bit, Gretchen. So, because a lot of times people would do auctions and they'd say, the winner of the auction, or the winner of the raffle gets to pick one of the live auction items.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't sell it beforehand because you're not really sure what they're going to choose.
Yeah.
How do you know what they're going to pick? And then you got to auction it off, and then you got to take it out. And then you lose something out of your live auction. So what we wanted to do is have it something completely separate. So what we did, and this is our product, you don't have to use ours, but I'm just giving you an idea. Our product has a choice of 3 to 4 things that they can choose from.
Destination wise, yeah.
Destination wise, that they get to choose. So you guys do the Europass this year, I think. So they didn't even use our golden ticket. They used the Europass, which they get choice of 3 trips. So the winner doesn't have to choose the night of the event. They can choose 6 months, 2 years down the road, because we give everybody 2 years to take it. But the idea is that way you don't have to worry about that pressure. And that takes a lot of pressure off everybody at the event, the auctioneer, the staff, because all of a sudden you're trying to figure out what are you going to pick, and then they pull something out. And then you've got 3 people that were waiting. They're sitting there waiting because they wanted to buy that item. And now it's out. Because
I think that
gone.
Could be,
it was something that was donated.
If someone picks a rockin' live auction item and it gets yanked out of your live auction, I think that's yanking air out of your room. I think it's a bad approach. Now, I'm not pointing fingers, by the way, if that's what you've been doing.
Well, it's just complicated. I just think it overly
exceptionally
complicated.
Yeah. Of course, it's literally the first iteration that we've ever heard of with the golden ticket. I think, at least that I ever heard of, maybe 8-9 years ago, was we let them choose one of the live auction items. It just seems like there's just a better strategy now. So yeah.
Well, and that's where my take on it would be is to. Yeah, so like our stuff has all the description, everything. Somebody was even asking about, and I'm going to kind of do 2 things in this one thing. Says, how do you, on the front end, how do you promote it? And so I was going to get Sami to talk about how they promote it.
Great idea.
The golden ticket, and that'll kind of go into this whole thing of selling the golden ticket beforehand. So how do you guys promote the ticket?
So because since 2020 when we did the ring, other than that, we've used Jason's packages. It comes with a marketing package. So you have all of the information at your fingertips. There's videos, there's flyers. So we incorporate that we send it out to our database. We post on our social medias. We send the emails to our board. Hey, make sure you're sending this out. We don't really do any kind of on the ground pushing for it. It's all just what our marketing person. It's all of our marketing person. What she's able to do just from behind her computer.
And we have all the posts for all the social media in there, so you can just pop that into your, just upload it and it's ready to go.
We mentioned this briefly, Sami, beforehand. I'm in love with the idea of branding these offerings, and it's the Purple Sash event. It's a brand. Okay, great. Everyone knows, what to expect with that name, right? And then the purple, it's just like, I know it sounds really, really simple, everybody, but you don't have to call it the golden ticket if you don't want to, although it's clever, okay? It works. But if you get the opportunity to brand anything, I think, as its own thing within your event, I don't think that that's something that should be overlooked. I think it could be massively important as far as building that brand. As of course, year in, year out. Now you're year 5, 6 with this. I think it's really smart.
I want to bring something up, and this is something I think that really is important. And I'm going to ask Sammy's question, the point on this. Is it important, do you think, to have a physical ticket to give people when they buy it?
No, we do not.
Bidder
We
number. Yeah.
have a flyer that we give the winner just so it has, hey, here's the information, so you have something to take, that we give the winner. But the participants, people who are buying tickets, get nothing from us.
Yeah.
So the point of that is a lot of times we get caught up in, and we've had people, and we do have that. We've got a design on there that you could use. And we've had people like go and design the ticket and they do all this stuff and they have it printed and they do all these things. And then they're sitting there going, oh my gosh, because, well, did they get the ticket? Did they not get the ticket? I'm going to tell you, with today's technology, nobody expects to get to get a ticket. Nobody expects to get something. Carrie's talking about, that's a great idea. She said, we give something themed like a pineapple cup, which is great for marketing at the event. I think that's fun.
Really smart.
We had a group that did a flashing bracelet.
Yeah.
They did a flashing bracelet, and then we've had somebody do a flashing ring. We've done things like that. And when they go, well, where'd you get that bracelet? Well, I bought a golden ticket. Well, what's a golden ticket? Well, you got to go right over there. Hey, and they would wind up, it was that whole FOMO thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have a bracelet. Carrie had another question. Great question. I want to make sure that we didn't overlook it. It's not off topic, Carrie. Anything fundraising is great. We're fundraising enthusiasts. It's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Your live auction has not been as popular, and seems that people's giving tendencies have shifted. Love to hear a webinar on ideas on how to supplement live auction, golden tickets, silent, VIP, silent, super wrap. I think all that's great. I think that, like Jason said, if you have 5 giving opportunities at your event, I'd like to hear Sammy's feedback on this too. I will say this, quickly though, Carrie, maybe the live auction items aren't what folks want. Jason and I see this pretty much on a daily basis. I'm not a believer in necessarily throwing your live auction out the window. If there's opportunity there, maybe the live auction items haven't been, I actually don't think it's people's giving tendencies. I could be wrong. I reserve the right to be wrong because I don't know your room. But I actually think, because the live auctions that that we see, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a year, do really well. Having things that folks want to bid on, I think, is massively important.
Yeah.
Actually, do me a favor, Sammy, speak to that as well. From your live auction just experience.
Yeah, I think it is a matter of having the people in the room. So you may have the same package year over year, and one year it does amazing, and the next year it falls kind of flat. You may have not had the people in the room for that item, for what that was wanting. We do in ours, we try to offer we usually do 7 to 10 live auction, and I reserve 3 of those for trips from Jason. So there's 3 that we sell multiple times. There's 3, I know they're going to be 3 trips, no matter which way the trend is lending, that where we pick them to. And then I have 7 to go kind of vary them up and make sure that they're different, make sure they're different price points, different interests. Like this one may gear towards, hey, it's a fishing trip, guys really love that. Or this is something that will really appeal to the female crowd. This is for couples. We just try to find a broad range for our live auction. And then obviously we always add the trips in.
Gotcha.
Carrie, I would tell you one thing is, in happy to do a coaching session with you. And it's not just to use our stuff. That's not what this is about. It's about really trying to dig in and look at who's in your event, who's coming, what they're spending on. There are some things that do happen. If you've only got 3 people that bid on something, and each one of them have bought it for the last 2 years, and you got the third person that hasn't, well, they're going to buy it for nothing. There was I know a guy that bought the same hunt from a small organization here in Oklahoma City to Africa, and he bought it 3 times because the first time he paid a lot of money for it. He loved the trip, would get up and talk about it. Well, then he bought it 2 more times because it was they kept putting it back in there, and after 3 or 4 other people had bought it, this is like year 5, 6, 7, they kept doing it. He was buying it for nothing, basically, because he was like, well, I'm going to go because I know what a great trip it is. But he goes, everybody had gone that wanted to go. So after, you're going to see that same thing. You've got a couple of things that have been donated that come over and over and over again. And, 1 year it'll do really spectacular and the next year, not so much.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that you have to kind of quantify what that is. There's a,
There's a lot of pieces to this though, by the way, Carrie. I mean, we're not broad stroking. It's we don't know who your auctioneer is. We don't know what the venue, like that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of components here that could lead to success, of course. Sorry for interrupting, bro.
We had somebody ask a question, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it was a lot, but basically it was talking about in the fund a need or the appeal,
I saw
using
that's a
a
great
prize
question.
for something like that and giving a ticket. So let me tell you how we have seen this done, and it's what's called, it's a paddle drop. They do a paddle drop. There's several different strategies, but what we've seen is people to do that. I would say name it as anonymous attendee, so that's fine. But we've seen people do it where it's a paddle drop, and what it is, it's the very last thing. And this is a strategy. Instead of trying to put a dollar amount on it, the way I've seen it work really well is trying to get a participation amount.
Yeah.
And so you put it at an amount that everybody can afford in the room. It's $100, and you say, look, if you've already given 10,000, we're asking for you to participate one more time.
Yeah.
If you've not done anything tonight, this is your chance to possibly do something that maybe you could give. And what it is, it's where you take the paddle and everybody, have volunteers walking around with a basket, and you can do paddle, you can do their bidder number, whatever, because they're done with it. They're not going to need it anymore. And they'll drop it in the basket. And then we're going to charge them $100. And we're going to draw everybody in there is going to get charged $100, the last chance donation. And we're going to reach in there and pull it out and say, we're going to give away we're going to draw something at the end. I've seen that to great success. And the idea was to get 100% participation. And, you get 600 people, you got 600 people in the room and everybody gives $100.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Did they do their fund a need before that?
They did.
So you still have your fund a need.
They had the fund a need. This was the last.
It's a component
instead of going, keep going
Yeah.
down, and then just stopping or doing like the other side is do a last champion, which is a different strategy, but same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in essence, the idea is very good. I just wouldn't lock it to a certain donation amount.
I would keep the golden ticket separate.
I've seen it tried. I've never seen it with success where it got more people to give. Basically, we gave away something for people that were going to give anyway, because people giving at the $500 level or higher are going to give for the mission, not for what they're getting.
Yeah. I love
Would you
that.
agree with that, Sammy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that at the end, what we're trying to do is maybe get some people that aren't going to give you $50, but they can afford $100 because if they have a chance to get something.
I love that. Yeah. We had a couple other questions about, thank you so much, Sandra. Thanks. They're using their first golden ticket this October. Thanks to you all. Well, that's what we're here for. That's awesome. Happy to hear it. Hope you raise a tremendous amount of money. Please reach out to us if there's any questions or anything, a stone left unturned. What was it about the links? We'll send out the links as well. Yeah, for everything that Bailey's been embedding. Hopefully it's provided value. We had a question about, I believe Shannon had that question. Hopefully I'm getting that right. And yeah, we'll absolutely include the links. Hey, we've done 170 of these webinars. They're amazing. Thanks to guests like Sami. And I feel like we have the permission now actually to ask. And I'm going to ask folks to connect with us on LinkedIn, reach out to Sami on LinkedIn, say thank you, show us some love on our social platforms, HCA Fundraising. You can find us anywhere. And then you can watch this episode in any of our episodes on our YouTube channel. Once again, asking as a favor from HCA, feel free to subscribe. Don't leave without subscribing, and leave us a comment, a question, maybe about any of the content. And we're going to keep on rocking. We've got a great episode lined up for next Thursday as well. Thank you, Calvin. Appreciate you, brother. Hope everyone got a lot of value out of today's episode.
Hey, we're going to give something away, so don't go anywhere.
I don't want to leave.
Somebody's leaving, and
I'm not
you
leaving.
might be the person. I've already drawn the number and the name, and
Why would you leave?
Sure
That
we
doesn't
give
make
this
any
away.
sense. That doesn't make any sense.
I know. Why would you leave early whenever you could win something?
Sami, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
guys
being so
having me,
willing.
even though
Yeah.
I
This is
came
your invite.
with my
This is
feet dragging.
this is your invite to come
You
back.
did great. I mean, I don't know
Thank
why
you.
you're even thinking that it's an issue.
Oh, it's
Um,
you're a natural. Thank you so much, Sammy. It's awesome.
all right, so let me get this here. All right, so we've got
Cool.
a winner, and
Cool.
the winner is Kristen Kitchens, or I think
Cool.
is it Kitchen or Kitchener? I'm sorry if I did that. So
We'll
Kristen,
find you.
reach
We'll
up.
find you,
Hey,
Kristen.
doesn't matter. We're gonna make sure you get it. Kristen, reach up and
Touch the
push that
screen,
spin
please.
button.
Yeah.
Nope,
Touch
push
the
it
screen.
again. One
Yep.
more. There it goes.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
here
you.
we go. All right, and let's see what she won.
Whoa. Whoa. What?
Holy cow, $400. All
We're gonna
right.
take out
So
a
this
line of
is
credit for that.
HGA bucks, and
Yeah.
these can be used for a for
For
one
the
of our
golden
items at
ticket,
your next
you can use it.
fundraiser. So you
Yeah. I
just do
mean,
that, and
geez.
we'll apply it right to the invoice, and you get a discount. So congratulations, Kristen.
Wow, that's
And
fun. Yeah.
Sammy, thank you. I just want to say you're one of a great fundraiser. You know,
Yep.
she prides herself in being behind the scenes, pulling the strings, and she's so good. And I just really, really appreciate you coming. So thank you so much. I had to get her in studio because she said, "I don't think my camera works." And I said,
We got
"No,
one.
we're going to get you here because I know what that was. It wasn't my camera doesn't work. It's like she's like, I'm not. Yeah, I just." But anyway, we got her here. So.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Well,
Congratulations.
thanks.
Oh yeah, from St. John's School. Well,
Far out.
congratulations.
We're looking forward to helping Kristen
Yeah,
wins
yeah.
the event. Let us know when the event is. Obviously, someone from our team will be in touch on how you can use your $400 or in
Yeah.
HGA
So,
bucks. And super fun.
all
Appreciate
right.
you coming. Appreciate everyone coming. Calvin, thank you for the kind words. Yes, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thank you, Gretchen. And yeah, like I said, Sammy, thanks so much. Really, really fun.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me.
All
Appreciate it,
right,
everybody.
we'll
We'll
do
see
it
you soon.
again. Say hi to Jan, please.
Next
All the
week.
best to
I
Jan,
will for
please.
sure.
Okay.